I think of the word hood, I think of a person, a place, and perhaps even a thing. I'm Sir Creepsta, and welcome to Muhlenberg County Ghost Stories from the Hood. Tonight's tale of terror is entitled The Bleeding Walls, Reboot. Unlike many of the stories that I share with you that happen to involve myself, along with several of my family and friends, tonight's tale is one that involves an OG friend of mine that has since moved on to the upper room. So R.I.P. Russell, and thanks, my friend, for sharing this story with me. So with that being said, sit back, relax, grab some snacks, and be terrified by yet another Muhlenberg County ghost story from the Hood. True terror can come in many different forms. It doesn't always have to involve ghosts, demons, shadow people, etc. There are times when the merest sight of something strange and out of place can inflict the same amount of fear in oneself. But before I go any further, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Also, click on the bell icon once you're in my YouTube page so that you can stay in the loop each and every time I drop a brand new video. According to Russell, it was a very stormy Friday night back in 2002. He'd been hanging out at a juke joint in the hood called the Dog Pound, having a few drinks and shooting some games of pool with some of his friends. This was a routine they had done on a weekly basis, seeing that it was payday and he wanted to loosen up a little bit before heading home. Something he started that he looked forward to doing every week. It was a way to unwind, he said. On this particular night, though, the rain just didn't seem to want to ease up at all. So we were stuck there at the pound a little longer than he had planned. After having been there for about 3 hours or so, he said that he just decided to make a run for it, realizing that there was no other one there other than the owner with a car to give him a ride home. According to Russell, it was a little bit past midnight, and the pound didn't usually close until around 2 a.m. So he said he had no other choice but to strike out running once the rain had let up a little bit. He said that when he stepped outside of the pound, he quickly noticed that a train was making its nightly run down the tracks through the hood. Fully aware that the night trains were generally longer and slower than the ones that came through the hood during the day, he had no other choice but to take the route through the park in order to get home. And that's exactly what he said he did. According to Russell, this was a decision that he would quickly come to regret for the remaining part of his life. Once striking out from the pound running, Russell said that he quickly ran through the park, jumped the ditch that ran through it, and proceeded to run up the hill behind the projects, not stopping until he reached the top of the hill, located at the old colored elementary school and gymnasium. But to his surprise, instead of the rain letting up, it only intensified and came down heavier, forcing him to try to take shelter in the old abandoned elementary school, which was a small beige brick building located right beside the old gymnasium. The building had been long abandoned, and fortunately for him, the door was unlocked that led into the creepy domain. Russell said he grabbed the doorknob, turned it, and leaped inside its compounds, avoiding having gotten completely drenched by the torrential rainfall. After safely getting inside the dark abandoned building, Russell said he leaned over for a brief moment just to gather his breath. Once catching his breath, Russell said that since it was dry inside the building, he thought that he would take a minute and grab him a smoke before continuing the rest of the way home. As he felt inside his pocket for his lighter, Russell said he thought that he smelled a strange odor coming from inside the dark, damp building, and that the odor was unsettling to his stomach. Once he had located his lighter, Russell said he proceeded to flick it to light his cigarette, and when he did, he said that the lighter illuminated the entire room. According to Russell, It was at that moment when his heart nearly stopped beating. For what he saw was a scene straight out of a horror movie. To his surprise, he saw the walls completely surrounding him were all dripping with what appeared to be blood. At that time, he said that the first thing that came to his mind was that he needed to get the hell out of this building because this isn't normal. And he bust out there as quickly as possible. And exactly what he did, making it home in record time. Upon arriving home, Rolf said he busted through the door once he had unlocked it and ran straight into the bathroom and looked in the mirror over the sink trying to gather himself and make some kind of sense about what he had just experienced. But according to Russell, he would soon make a discovery that shook him to his core. For when he glanced down at his shoes, to his surprise, not only had the walls appeared to have been dripping with blood, apparently the floor was covered with blood also. His shoes were soaked with blood, and he quickly noticed that he had tracked bloody footprints from the doorway all the way into his bathroom. According to Russell, it was at that terrifying moment that he made a promise to himself that he would never again step foot back inside the old school building, especially on a rainy night. Russell would go on to tell me that later on, after speaking with a few of the elders in the hood, he would come to find out that the grounds that the school and gym were built on had once been rumored to have been an old Indian burial ground, and that the spirits of the dead Indians, alongside rumors of murders that had allegedly happened on the hill throughout time, was why the hill had been rumored by the locals to have been haunted for decades. And then the spirits of the dead haunt the grounds of the school and gym to this very day. So if you ever find yourself on the hill where the old school and gym are located on a rainy night, and you decide to jump inside the building for cover, please do so with extreme caution, or you too may find yourself amongst the bloody walls and floors brought about from the horror that lies inside this domain. I'm Sir Creepsta, and until next time, stay terrified.